Good morning, everyone. How's everybody doing today? Froggy, Christine, Connie, Replay, Brittany. Seen some of you in here earlier. Texas, Penny. Do. 7-1. Connie, how are you? How is everybody? The Scoop with Barb. Give me 1 second. I need to, God forbid, cover. Oh, what am I going to use? We will be using our Michael Myers sticker to cover, God forbid, we have a keen slip. We're seeing far too many of them going on. All right. We are safe. Okay. Hey, Truth Hurts. So today we are going to talk about a few hard to hear cases that involve children. And these particular 3 cases always come to my mind when, for example, poor Kaylee Anthony always comes to my mind when we hear of another toddler with, quite frankly, a shitty parent that kind of avoids. Replay Crow, I'm going to put you in timeout. I don't have time for your shit today. Don't be disrespecting my mans, all right? So, yeah. For me, hearing about Quentin lately, it really made me think a lot about Evelyn Boswell, who was, just another baby. She was only 15 months old. And her situation was horrific, absolutely horrific. New details actually came out, and I'm surprised it's not making its rounds the way that, you kind of suspect it would. But I'm going to show a little bit of that. I'm going to give the story to that. Most of you know the background of Casey Anthony, right? Hey, Cole, Julie, caffeinated. Hello, hello. They absolutely are, Froggy. Absolutely are. Actually, let me put this up really quick. Hey, Connie, I see you. Ooh, we got a kitten. Give me 1 second. I'm gonna. Yeah, you're right. Every case with these babies is just horrific. I'm sorry about that noise. Okay, so we have over here we have little baby Evelyn. She was 15 months old. We have Quinton, who was 20 months old. And then Kaylee was about 3. Am I right about that? I think she was soon to turn 4. I guess I should have looked that up first. And to me, Megan Boswell really copied Casey Anthony. Yeah, so she was 3 years old. And she would have been turning, well, she was 2. She would have been turning 3. Ugh. Like that month. Wow. Yeah, I mean, look at the innocence in their eyes. And I know a lot of times when discussing true crime cases or active cases or inactive cases, whatever, the focus very easily drifts off of the main purpose, which is these babies. So I want this to be done with these babies in mind. I want this to be as respectful to their memory as can be. And I just want the focus to more so remain on them than their killers, quite frankly, because yeah, they're often kind of left in. Like, we remember Megan Boswell, right? But how many remember Evelyn, the name? So let me put this somewhere safely. Okay. So, how many of you are familiar with Megan Boswell, who was the mother and the murderer of little baby Evelyn over here to your left? This all took place in February 19th of 2020. Hey, Lindsay, get that money, girl. Drive carefully, though. When Evelyn was 15 months old. So, very similar to this case here, it wasn't actually Megan, and this is similar to Quentin's case. It was not Megan who reported baby Evelyn missing. Matter of fact, it was the grandfather, Evelyn's father, Tommy, who, after months of not seeing Evelyn, finally called and made a report that she was missing. So on February 19th of 2020, the Amber Alert went out. 2 months of not seeing Evelyn before the Amber Alert went out. When the grandfather called, Tommy called the police, he stated that his ex-wife, Megan's mother, had the baby. Megan's mother's name's Angela. It's a lot of names. So at first, the investigators believed that the last date that that Evelyn was seen was December 26th. Nope. It turns out she was last seen December 10th. Hey, masshole. Oh, let me get that, Lindsay. Similar to baby Elena. No, and Tomlin case. See, I don't know if I ever... I don't know if I've heard of that one. Wow. Okay. So on February 19th, because the grandfather, Tommy, called and said he believes his ex-wife, Angela, Megan's mother, had the baby, the police then believed they had a possible lead, which was a BMW. So give me 1 second. I'm going to pull this up. All right. So we're at 224. Whoa, don't lift off, camera blocker.
Evelyn was last seen in...
Oh. All right, let me share screen. Hey, Holly East Nemos, how are you? I'm pretty good. I hope you're good as well. Thank you. All right, so this is going to be one of the first press conferences that were done. This was February 19th. Again, this is when they believe they had a lead in the case. Oh, I have this over. I'm sorry. Give me 1 second.
Evelyn was last seen in December. As you all know, these cases are already time sensitive, and we urge anyone with any information to come forward. I know there are a lot of questions and rumors floating around. Believe me, we have a lot of questions still unanswered as well. The investigation began on Tuesday afternoon, February 18, after the Sullivan County Sheriff's Office received a State of Tennessee Department of Children's Services referral. The referral stated that certain family members hadn't seen Evelyn in 2 months. The Sullivan County Sheriff's Office and the Department of Children's Services immediately launched an investigation to locate 15-month-old Evelyn Boswell. During this investigation, we were made aware of a person of interest that we would like to speak to. This may lead to additional relevant information in our investigation. This vehicle with the occupants is a gray 2007 BMW with Tennessee tags 3M96W9.
Now,
Okay, so the BMW comes into play with the license plate because after a little bit of time goes by, and I'm kind of skipping the timeline here. So, so first it was, burnt popcorn, early start. So first I want to state that Megan was a teen mom, okay? And the father of Evelyn, he was actually active military. So he was stationed in the military at this time. He wasn't really, not that he wasn't involved in Evelyn's life, but he was gone for a majority of it. So this was February 19th that this went out. And this is when they are led to believe that the grandmother, again, Angela, has baby Evelyn. Megan gives her first interview on February 21st. And this is when she displays really bizarre behavior and the story begins to change. I'm going to play that for you. And then when it comes to Quentin, if Brittany would like to come up because she's followed baby Quentin's case just a little bit closer than I have. Okay. Many trigger warnings throughout today's. Yes, thank you so much, Froggy. Can a baby be missing for so long, not reported? That is my sentiments, Connie. And luckily, the grandfather, Tommy, who seems like he was a great, grandfather to Evelyn, realized after 2 months that this is just not normal. Where is this baby? And he started this train of getting the truth. What gets me with all these is how they can sit back and let these massive searches take place and they know it, right? They know it's fruitless, right? But anything to save themselves, right?
I just want to tell you about like her favorite things and personality wise. I know like looking on TV and just kind of seeing a picture, it's a lot harder to, envision a baby. Like her favorite food is like sweet potatoes. She's really sweet. She loves to give people kisses. Favorite song is Baby Shark. Just like that kind of stuff.
Can you tell me what's her favorite toy?
She has a little Baby Shark puppet.
What would y'all do together?
Well, she loves to take baths. That was her favorite thing. She had little shark toys that swim in the bath and stuff like that.
How old is she now?
She's 15 months today, actually.
Oh, wow. Can you tell me a little bit?
So again, this was on February 19th. And she stated that Evelyn would have been 15 months today, which means when baby Evelyn was murdered, oh my goodness, she would have only been 13 months. 13 months old. Oh, and the weird, like Like, no crying, no. You're reminiscing back on your daughter and what your baby like. I get teary-eyed thinking back to my children as babies and they're living. She's sitting here like, yeah, it's just so awkward, but it gets even more bizarre.
You said she's very sweet. Is she sweet with everybody, or just
She
you?
is. She loves everybody.
Can you tell me a little bit about like how
I want to point out keywords here because a lot of times, oh, Mike, a lot of times people will use and pick apart the verbiage of people, right? And the Summer Wells case, because they would say Summer was, everybody automatically assumed that they were guilty of Summer's disappearance because they would say was, right? Where you hear Evelyn here saying she is very sweet. Oh, which one, Tara? She is very sweet, and she is, she's good with everybody, and at this point she's full damn well aware that Evelyn is deceased. So we can't always go off of the words they use.
how you're feeling? Do you miss her? Are you worried?
Of course, I miss her, and like, I can't tell anything about the ongoing investigation, but they are. I'm sure you all have released an article about the car and stuff like that, so they have a pretty good idea of who has her. I mean, if they're watching, I just want them to bring her back.
Is there anything
Here she says they have a pretty good idea of who has her, right? So she is also going with. So at this point, you guys need to understand Evelyn is blaming a babysitter. Very similar to Casey Anthony. The babysitter has her. No name on who the babysitter is, just the babysitter.
you'd like to say to them if they're watching?
I just want her back. Yeah, that's my child.
I'm sorry. I know this must be hard. Why don't you tell me a little bit more about her? Do you have any pictures of her? Have you been looking?
Not on me though.
Not on you. Have you been looking at photos and stuff of her while you're? How are you coping with all of it?
I just want her back.
If you could tell her anything now, what would you say to her?
I love her and I miss her, and that I'll be with her as soon as I can get to her any way I can.
And I know all of this is very hard. Can you tell me like how you're feeling?
I just want her back. That's all I want.
Are you feeling worried or anything along those lines?
Yeah.
Can you tell me about that at all?
Well, the reason I didn't report it or anything is because I knew the person who had her, and
Now keep note of here. Used to be the butler. Keep notice here. So she gets this smirk. She gets this duper's delight. And you'll notice it throughout the interviews I'm going to show you. So in particular, this one, she says she's with the babysitter. And there's this duper's delight about it. I'm going to rewind it a little bit.
well, the reason I didn't report it or anything is because I knew the person who had her, and I didn't want them to run away with her. And as soon as they thought anything was going on, they just kind of vanished.
Okay. So the reason I didn't report her, for one, nobody fucking asked. Nobody said, hey, Evelyn, why didn't you report her missing? For two, her excuse that I didn't report her because I know the person and I knew they would run away. So you were just going to allow these people to keep your baby. Now, let me tell you something. If somebody had my child, the babysitter decidedly one day said, I'm not giving you your baby back. Get the fuck out of here. You'd want the police to get there before me, okay? Let me just say that. You'd want the police to show up before I would. But here you have this woman saying, so I didn't bother reporting because, well, then they, and now they vanished. Bullshit. And look at the glee in her.
So I'm just worried about, like where they're at, what they're doing with her at this point in time.
So you do know who has her? You do. Can you tell us who that is, or you don't?
I can't release anything further about that. I'm sure they will at the press conference, but further than that, I can't say anything.
Mm-hmm. And so,
do you guys see it? Do you see like the smirk, like the aha They're believing me. Oh, it makes me so sick.
You do know who has her. Are you worried about her safety?
Well, now I am, because they won't answer phone calls. They've just kind of disappeared.
What is it like to? I'm assuming that you trusted this person. How has this trust been broken? What's been going on with that?
It has definitely been broken after this.
Have you spoken to her father at all during this process? Are you having any support from
No.
him or from your family?
Yeah, my grandma's very supportive. She always is.
That's good. But you haven't spoken to him at all.
Mm-mm.
When was the last time you saw her?
In December.
In December. Okay. And what was that last day like? Was it a good day? I think it was about around Christmas, right? Can you tell me about that?
It was a good day. She had a little pink bow in her hair and a little Puma tracksuit on. It was hot pink.
And
Oh, it was a good day. It was a good day because she had a little hot pink tracksuit on, a little Puma tracksuit with a bow. Not like it was a good day because I got to hold my baby and she's so full of life and, you know, the warmth I get just having her in my arms. No, it was a good day. Simply because she was wearing a cute outfit.
what, like, I know that you're hoping that she'll be returned shortly. Is there anything that you'd like to say to the person or people that have her that you think they should hear from you?
They should just bring her back. They obviously know, like, what's going on, and, like, you know, they need to bring her back home.
Mm-hmm. And you said that you trusted this person. So when did you realize that trust might have been broken?
Well, when they just kind of took off and wouldn't answer anybody.
Around when was that?
Whenever this whole thing started.
Okay.
Okay. Okay. Okay. So she didn't stop trusting them when they immediately, you know, wouldn't give her baby back. No. It wasn't until police got involved. So what you all need to understand is Evelyn was begging her father, Tommy, not to call the police. She was also claiming that her mother, Angela, was threatening her that if she contacted the police. So a little later on, we find out that the alleged babysitter is now the mother. And the BMW that the police are searching for belongs to her boyfriend, Hunter. Hunter claims that he never even met the baby. That they were on and off again relationship since December. He never met the baby. He was led to believe that Megan shared custody with the baby's father. And that's why he never met the baby. He also stated something about the baby at the end of December had a broken arm. Something nobody else has ever heard about. Unbelievable. So now I'm going to give you the boyfriend's interview. Which, let me just tell you, this guy's a little... I shouldn't say... He's a little odd, but I shouldn't say anything other than him because he was a victim in this as well. So he owned a restaurant that he claims was taking a big hit during this because obviously everybody's tying him in with this, you know, missing Tyler case.
Herself. I've never.
Okay. So he tells the police, he tells this interviewer, which was actually the same day, that he never even so much as saw Evelyn. And this is the poster, the Amber Alert for Evelyn. Ugh. Again, they thought she was missing since the 26th of December. They find out it was actually the 10th. For Megan Boswell, I believe she was 17. Let me double check that for you. Thank you for asking that. I do believe for some reason I want to say 17, but let me make sure. Um, okay, so she was actually 18. So she gave birth at 16.
Seen the baby in my life.
Hunter Wood says he briefly dated Evelyn's mother, Megan Boswell.
She applied for a job at my restaurant, Under T's Chicken Shack, and it wasn't like a relationship. It was an on and off going, you know what I'm saying, type deal. It wasn't like an all out, like, you know, relationship.
He says he's known Megan Boswell for about 2 months and never saw baby Evelyn.
All I've seen is pictures of her. I have no relationship with that child whatsoever.
He says he's received threats over the internet, causing him to shut down his restaurant's Facebook page.
To my knowledge, the entire time that I've known Maggie, I've never seen the baby, of course, but as well as the baby has been with the father.
Now, 2 things I noticed during this interview. One, instead of calling Megan Megan, he calls her Maggie. Hey now, Froggy, I had my baby young. But so he called her Maggie. So you know it was a booty call. It was nothing more. Yes, T. Adams, booty call vibes. Yes, 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 yes. He didn't even know her name. Yeah, he said that child. I didn't even know that child. Yeah. Oh, absolutely. Absolutely.
You know, back from military leave. And that is all that I've known about the child.
He wants the focus to be on finding the child and not on him and his business.
There's been a bunch of stuff said about, you know what I'm saying, my restaurant, Hunter T's Chicken Shack, things negative towards, you know what I'm saying, to try to, you know, stir away the main key factor of us just trying to operate.
That very
So a lot of people were upset that he kept dropping the name of his business. Yeah, thank goodness, Froggy. Oh, I get what you're saying. Okay, I get it, Froggy. You're saying she didn't have the maturity. People are upset that he kept dropping the name of his business. They thought it was like a weird advertisement thing. Now, as for me, I could see why people would think that, but at the same time, his business was taking a major hit over all of this, right? You know how people go, how people are. So then we find out. So this is all taking place on February 21st, these interviews. Then Tommy Boswell, the grandfather, Evelyn's grandfather, Megan's father, says Megan's mom told him, he actually gave an ultimatum before he called. He said, you have X amount of hours to bring this baby to me. I need to see Evelyn or I'm contacting the police. He said this to Megan's mom because as Megan, the grandfather, Tommy, believed that Megan's mother, Angela, had the baby. Well, she turns around and says, if you call the police, you're going to regret it. Don't do it. So then what we come to find out is they get arrested. Angela, Megan's mother, and her boyfriend, they stole a vehicle to flee the state. The vehicle they stole? The BMW from the first interview. The BMW actually belonged to the guy we just saw, the booty call guy, Hunter. And Megan says it wasn't stolen. He said, I can drive it whenever we want. So now at this point, we have Megan blames her mother, claims her mother took Evelyn to a campground in Virginia, and then she gives an interview and acts as if the police are not helping her. So I'm going to play you that one. And this interview, I'll tell you what, nobody really knows. Nobody truly knows. Truth hurts. They were obviously fucked up people. They were very fucked up. If you ask me, I think she knew. I think Angela, Megan's mother, either knew what Megan did or helped her, because there's also a point when, after receiving a tip to check upon It turns out that the pond belongs to Megan's mom's boyfriend. So Angela's boyfriend's grandmom's property. And when they go, they get to talking to the grandmom, and the pond shows up empty. And the grandmother tells them that her grandson and his girlfriend Angela were there and asked for money to flee the state. She also believes that her grandson could be involved in something like this. So that's all very strange.
Time you saw her. Tell me what that time was like and when that was.
Well, actually, I want to talk about that. I've told TBI where to find her in Mendota. My mom.
So take note here, the arrogance. The arrogance, the dupers, the light. She is now full-blown fucking arrogant. And in this one, I'll tell you, I just want to... Oh, my goodness. Hey, Lucy. It's good to see you. Wow. Good morning.
Mom took her to a campground and a silver camper, and if they don't go tonight, I'm going to go find her myself. Because I've told them, and they're not really, like, taking it seriously, and if they don't go tonight, like, I will go myself and go get her.
Ooh, look at you, badass mom. You know, now she's all badass. I'll go and get her. Why the fuck didn't you get her back in December? And now the police aren't, if they don't, I'm going to. But let's not forget she was all timid and scared. And I don't know, I don't know what to do. And they vanished, they disappeared. Oh, no, now she knows exactly where Evelyn is and has been. And if the police don't fucking go, she's gonna go. Ugh. And you know what? When I get to how baby Evelyn was found, you all will share in this anger with me.
My mom, like, you can ask her, is a very vindictive, manipulating person. And
Yes.
she basically, like, threatened me the whole time that she was gone.
Do you know who has Evelyn right now?
She dropped her off somewhere in Mendota at a silver camper. But my mom would always say the person, not like people, plural.
So there is a person that has her in Mendota.
They're not taking me seriously. TBI isn't, because I've not fully told them. I've been like, hey, like, my mom camped out at Mendota. You want to go check them out? But I've never been like specifically, hey, she's in like a silver camper. Because my mom did threaten me, like, if I told anybody. I'm not going to get into that, but she did.
Look at the smile. Look at that. So this is after her mother, okay, is arrested. So I don't know. She felt comfort and like, hey, wait, was this after her mother was arrested? I'm sorry, maybe not. No, it wasn't. Okay. So I don't know if this is why I don't know if the mother was involved. I don't understand any of what is happening here. I understand why the police aren't fucking, believing her, because at this point her story has changed so many times. But yeah, she's very comfortable in blaming her mother now with big smirk on her face, right?
So your mom has had Evelyn the whole time? Or the whole time?
Or the person that is in Mendota has had her the whole time.
Tell me why you let your mom take care of her. Did she take her from you that night? And
Well, she was just supposed to babysit her because I was going to work.
and
Whoo, child. So, I want to point out two things here. You hear in the background when they say, why did your mother have Evelyn? Whatever. You hear in the background somebody chimes in and says she had to go to work. That is Tommy, Evelyn's grandfather, Megan's father. At this point, hey, Lexi. Or Lex, I'm sorry. I call my baby Lexi. At this point, he believes his daughter. He believes his daughter for many reasons, because Evelyn's mother does have a history. I'm sorry, Megan's mother does have a history. And two, it was her mother that said to the father, I'm sorry, the grandfather, my goodness, if you contact them, you're going to regret it. You have not, Barb? Hey, Jay.
Then when did you know that something was wrong?
Well, whenever like she picked me up Wednesday, and I told her like, hey, they're doing a press release about the Amber Alert thing, and then she freaked out, and that's why they couldn't find her. Like nobody talked to her for days until they arrested her. She just kind of poof, gone. But she kept trying to take me into.
Okay, so as I suspected, the mother, Angela, Megan's mother, was arrested at this point.
No, and I kept asking. I was like, "Are you taking me to Evelyn?" And she would never tell me yes or no. And I was like, "Well, if you're not, I'm just calling my police station, come and get me. Like I'm not playing these games with you."
And so tell me, the day that you dropped her off with your mom to let her babysit, was there anything off about your mom that day? Did you have any suspicion that she was going to take your child?
No.
Was there a reason that that you didn't make the call and it was your dad?
Because mom kept threatening me if I made the call.
So now, yeah, this smile, Barb, this smile. All the while, I want you to remember, we are 2 months in to Evelyn being deceased. And when I tell you how she was found, oh my Lord, be prepared. She cannot, Jay. She was actually found to be sane. She tried that. We are now getting into the cases resurfacing. Oh, my bad. I was muted. Yeah, threatening her with what? Threatening her with what? What could your mother possibly threaten you with that would have you fearful enough to allow her just to escape with your child, just to kidnap your child? And you're right. Her hair was always in her face until she wanted to cry. Sorry, I had to go get my daughter. Okay, so I wish I didn't read. That's going to be the hardest part. The hardest part. Yeah, we did see this happen. I don't know why there hasn't been any arrest yet. It makes me sick. Hair is always in her face till she starts to fake tears, and then threatening her with what? Right. Well, the timeline was so inconsistent, and she's wondering why, the police just aren't taking her serious, and, go get my baby. Bullshit. All right, so right after this, so now the babysitter turned to, it was her mom. Her mom was already arrested, found in the BMW that belonged to Megan's booty call hunter. Okay. So on February 25th now, Megan tells the news station, this same news station, that she's unable to take a polygraph test because she's pregnant. The sheriff's office never mentioned polygraph tests. It was never stated. They never mentioned it. That same day, Megan is arrested, and what do you know? She's not pregnant. And it's the next day that the tip comes in to search a pond that Megan's mom's boyfriend's grandmother owned. The tip came up empty. There was nothing, nothing found. But while there, the grandmother of the mom, Angela's boyfriend, says she very well believes that her grandson could be involved in this. There was another tip given after that led up empty. Finally, a tip was given to check a shed. It belonged to the home of Megan's father, Tommy, her brother, and her grandmother. The grandmother that she states was so supportive of her. Brace yourselves. Brace yourselves. I cannot say it enough. Brace yourselves. I'm going to show you here Megan's arrest photo. This is when she was finally arrested. You piece of shit. Yes, I will write in the chat when to unmute. This is going to be sensitive details. It didn't say so what I listened to did not tell me who gave the tip. This here is the shed. This is the shed that baby Evelyn was found inside a trash can. Look at the baby's toys right here. Look at the baby's toys. Oh, it just breaks my heart.
Absolutely heartbreaking news.
All right. Here we go. Brace yourselves.
This evening, we received information that led TBI agents and Sullivan County detectives to a property belonging to a family member of Evelyn's mother in the 500 block of Muddy Creek Road in Blumpville. During the search, investigators discovered human remains believed to be those of a 15-month-old girl.
This was on March 6th. So since December till March. She was wrapped up, Lex Luthor. I'm going to play another clip that is going to give you the gruesome details of how baby Evelyn was found. Oh, it is horrific. She is pure evil, is right, Mama Bear.
The remains will be sent for an autopsy and a positive identification.
3 days later, on March 9th, Megan appeared in court for her first time. The judge raised her bond to $150,000. During this court hearing, more information was revealed about that search that led police to discover these remains. TBI Special Agent Brian Fraley testified that Megan made many, many false statements, which made them waste precious time during this investigation. Investigators also stated that along with the remains, they found clothing and toys that matched the description of when Evelyn was last seen. On March 11th,
Do you guys remember when they asked how her last day, Megan's last day with Evelyn was? And Megan stated that she had a pink bow with a hot pink Puma outfit. She didn't say like it was great, we snuggled, we laughed, we cuddled. No, she mentioned what the baby was wearing. Do you recall that?
2020, the remains were confirmed to be that of Evelyn Boswell and requested that the autopsy results be sealed for the integrity of the investigation and due to its popularity in the media. The next day, a statement was released by the Boswell family, excluding Angela. This statement read, "The immediate Boswell family of Evelyn are in anguish and grief over their loss. It's been a very rough and trying time for everyone. At this time, they do not want to speak publicly in regards to this tragedy. They are still trying to process what has happened. They ask for the media and the public to respect their wishes. They need more time to grieve privately." Megan appeared in court May 8, 2020, and lawyers in charge of the case claimed that they needed more time to review the interviews containing Megan before they actually submitted it to a grand jury, and further claimed that there were more than 25 videos to review. On May 21st, the Sullivan County District Attorney's Office confirmed that a grand jury indicted Megan on 11 counts of false reporting charges. And just
25 interviews of pure shit. Now I'm going to pull up this more recent interview. I actually had to buy ad-free. I can't tell you. I can't explain how expensive ad-free is. But I bought that just for this so we can do this uninterrupted, because this is just a case that deserves utmost respect. So let me go ahead and share this that just came out. Hey, Caddies, good to see you. I'm sorry to everybody who has come in that I have not acknowledged. When I'm going back and forth through videos this way, I'm not able to pay as much attention to the chat as I normally do. But I do want you all to know that I greatly appreciate you being here with me this morning.
They sleep on the child. I don't know, Vinny, what the...
Sorry, the cat, the kitten came up and fast forward all of that. Give me 1 second. Come here, you want to snuggle? So yeah, I do apologize. Excuse me. So this was released on September 22nd. Yeah, ad-free is amazing. It's just so expensive. I was actually going to ask if any other creator that I'm friends with would want to pitch in monthly towards it, because you can have 5 people for $17. We can each have 1 or 2 and split the cost. I think that would be great to do with another creator, because when you're shown videos, whatever. All right, so this is September 22nd. This is Court TV. And yeah, give me 1 second. This kitten is literally wrapped around my arm trying to bite my arm off. Lord have mercy. This is a Court TV. This is not an interview. They're going to speak about the recent discoveries in this case, Tara, and this is when it's going to get graphic. So Copa and those alike, if one of the mods could write and chat that now would be a good time to mute if you were unable to hear sensitive details surrounding this gorgeous, beautiful baby's final moments, because it is horrific.
I just want her back. That's all I want. I've been so long without her, and I know a lot of people are like, "Oh, why didn't you report it missing earlier?" Because my mom threatened me, and I just want her back.
Can I first start with fuck you, Megan Boswell? Fuck you. The tears, the way she's blaming her mother, it's disgusting.
That's all I can think about is how much I just want her back.
A lot of people are going to wonder whether or not those tears are genuine, because that's Megan Boswell, teen mom, accused of the murder of her daughter. Let me show you the picture. This is little baby Evelyn. Her mother's been charged with the murder. She went missing. Mom did not report her missing. Her grandfather had to make that report. She was then found on some family property, and now we're getting more details about the cause of death.
Do you guys see down the bottom where it's saying Evelyn died of a sophisticated, sorry, I can't even say it. She was suffocated to death. Evelyn was suffocated to death. She was found wrapped in aluminum foil and a blanket and inside a discarded trash bag. Now, I don't know if they're going to tell you, and if not, I will. But I didn't watch this entire because I wanted to respond to this with you all. I hate to admit it, but I did see that grief muscle, that body language guys say can't be faked. No, that's okay, Pops. I believe at this moment, Megan probably did feel major regret and sadness.
And it's gruesome. Let me bring in Joseph Scott Morgan. He's in Jacksonville, Alabama tonight. He's professor of forensics at Jacksonville State University, former senior investigator for the Fulton County Medical Examiner's Office, and the host of the incredibly popular Body Bags podcast. Joseph, let me put up on the screen. Thanks for joining us again.
You bet.
Baby Evelyn's cause of death. And this is what we learned in court. Cause of death, asphyxia. Manner of death, homicide. Here are the details. Evelyn was found wrapped up in aluminum foil and a blanket inside of a trash bag that had been discarded in a trash can. The chief medical examiner says aluminum foil obstructed her airway and was found inside of Evelyn's mouth.
Oh my goodness. Oh my goodness. 15 months. Oh, let me get myself together. I am being attacked by a kitten. Come on, stop it, Nelly. This 15-month-old baby. Why, Jeep girl, why? Just like Kaylee. Ouch. It's enough. This 15-month-old baby had the aluminum foil in her airway. In her airway. Do you know what that means? This baby was put in there alive. Oh, my Lord. Can you... Now, I hate to make this more graphic than it is. And I'm sorry if you were very sensitive to these type of things. But can you imagine the fear, the confusion of this baby at 15 months old? Yeah, by biting my arm off. At 15-month-old, this poor baby, by her own mom, her mommy, she, not only is it horrific enough, to murder your baby, but to do it in such an insensitive way that you literally suffocate. She did not even have the concern. I mean, who has concern when killing a baby, right? That doesn't make sense. But you get what I'm trying to say. It is such an inhumane way. The fact that you could murder a baby at all, but the fact that you could do it in such a gruesome, disgusting... Megan did this to her, Froggy. Oh, let me carry on. I'm sorry.
We also know that she was upside down in that trash bag. Here's what Megan Boswell told TBI, Tennessee.
So this 15-month-old baby, her mommy grabs her. And this is going to be graphic, and I'm sorry. Her mommy grabs her, begins to wrap her in aluminum foil. Alive. She then takes her. Nope, she was not just upside down. She then takes her and places her into this dark, where she's suffocating, into this dark bag, upside down, but not just upside down. This is very gruesome, and I hate that I even have to say this. But this baby was placed in such a way that her head was touching the middle of her back. So tilt your head back just a little bit. Her neck was stretched from the way she was wrapped up, alive. That it was so elongated that the back of her head was touching down to her shoulder blades. Alive. Alive.
Bureau of Investigation. She allegedly told the agents that Evelyn's death was an accident. She claims that she and her boyfriend rolled over on Evelyn and smothered her while they were all sleeping in the same bed. Your thoughts about the details we're learning here. What does it tell you?
So now she's bringing the boyfriend, Hunter, the owner of the chicken eatery, right? Oh no, we accidentally rolled over and smothered her. Except for the aluminum foil was in her fucking airway, you dumbass bitch. I hope this Megan Boswell rots in hell. She should be murdered in the same format she murdered her baby. If we stopped housing these cruel fucking criminals, if we stopped giving them a cot and 3 meals a day, and we instead murdered them the way they murdered these other people, especially children, maybe we'd have less crimes against children. Yep. Some of the autopsy photos are so graphic, they will not even allow them to be submitted into the courtroom or seen by the jurors.
You've got an obstructed airway, which, is facilitated through this aluminum foil. I don't ever recall hearing of a case where aluminum foil was utilized. However, what does happen, and I think that many, certainly parents who have this terror, I know I had when my kids were little, the kids are going to stick something in their mouth that's going to obstruct their airway. Aluminum foil can be manipulated and rolled up into a tiny ball. If that's what you have at your disposal, you can take this, wrap it up or wad it up and stuff it into the mouth like this, and automatically you're obstructing the airway. There's another troubling piece to this, Ben, and another layer to this from an asphyxial standpoint. Remember what what is being said here is that she was found in this bag, wrapped in a blanket, and she is inverted, upside down. And that can lead to further exacerbate the condition of asphyxia through a condition called positional asphyxia. I've worked cases where kids have fallen in between the wall and a crib before, when a crib was not put together properly. And they inverted like that, and they died as a result of positional asphyxia. The trick is this, to try to explain this to a jury, and the pathologist is going to have to stand and deliver relative to this, because there's some subtlety that's involved here. You're going to hear a lot about obstruction of the airway, how this is facilitated, and also, how long this would have taken, because it's not a quick death. It's not something.
You hear what he just said? Did you hear what that gentleman just said? How long it would have taken. Asphyxiation is not a quick death. It's not a quick death. Oh. Why the cruelty? Well, if I may, before I click, I'm going to give us all a break. What I think is given the timeline of when Megan murdered Evelyn, because she murdered her. And in the format that Megan murdered Evelyn, it was around the same time that she met the boyfriend Hunter. Hunter was young, but not, too young. He's in his early 20s. He was well established. He owned businesses. He drove a BMW. If you ask me, I think Megan felt like Evelyn was in her way of this relationship. She met Hunter in December, and she murdered Evelyn in December. Now, I'm not saying Hunter is to blame in this. I'm not saying he has any part in this. But you got to remember, Megan was a teenager. She had her baby very young. I remember having my daughter. I was pregnant at 17. I turned 18 shortly after giving birth. And you get, there's a lot of judgment being a teen mom, especially by peers. And then you often do think, nobody will ever love me. Nobody's going to take me and the baggage of my child. Luckily, my daughter and my love for her outrode any type of relationship like that. And I didn't care. And I obviously did end up finding love later on and whatever. But I can see how Megan would feel like, oh, I can't enjoy this new time with this wealthy, good-looking guy because, well, Evelyn's in the way. Now, again, I don't know if that's why she did it, but if I had to guess, that would be my guess. What do you guys think? Megan needs to be murdered. Yes, Bonnie, just like Susan Smith. The guy that Susan was in love with did not want children, so Susan attempted to get rid of her children. Use contraception is free. Oh, it's not always free, but I agree. Exactly what you thought too. I definitely think it was over a guy. Okay, so a lot of you do. Postpartum depression. Let's see that one. 15 months, but this horrific. Well, let's remember it was actually Evelyn. It was Megan's father, Tommy, who called her in missing. If you ask me, Megan's mother, Angela, was involved. When Megan gets to prison, she will fall under a prison justice system and she will stand a good chance of being found unalive as her crime is considered one of the worst. But you know the problem, Gregory? They protect her. They protect Chris Watts. They protect Evelyn. They were protecting Jeff Dahmer until he said, I've had enough of being alone. I want to be in population. They protect them from their peers and they shun it. Well, and if you ask me, it's exactly why Casey Anthony murdered Kaylee. She wanted a life of freedom. CJ, and I'm sorry to hear that.
Where, if your mind automatically goes, well, maybe it was a merciful death. Ben, I got to tell you, this would not have been. This would have been absolutely, positively horrific.
Little Evelyn suffered.
Yeah, no doubt.
The gentleman speaking deals with death all the time. And he is telling you this is one of the most horrific ways to die. Megan's mom let her blame her because she has the addict parent guilt, and they were really hoping to throw so much confusion. Yeah, that could be possible, chicken feet. Yeah, it's inhumane, my ass. Fucking murder them the way they murdered their victims. Then guess what? The next person who thinks to do a horrific crime might think, well, shit. And do it publicly. Do it so we can all watch if we want. The old Stonin fashion, right? I'm sorry. I feel that way, especially when it comes to children. Not in all situations, but when it comes to these babies, I very passionately believe they should be tormented and murdered in the same format that they did the babies. I told you all I was involved as a witness in a real-life crime against a 3-year-old baby named Mason, who was not only murdered by his mother and her boyfriend, but was tormented the last days of his life to the point where he had burn marks, unbelievable amount of burn marks all over his body. including his private areas. He was SA'd. And this baby lived for a week of pure torment before he succumbed to his beatings. And I had to see that baby's photos with all the bruising and the burn marks and everything on it. And I'll never forget the image I saw. I'll never forget it. They should kill them the same fucking way. And that's why I get so pissed off when people play games with CPS on here and calling child services because you don't like a creator. Because there are babies like that baby Mason. There are babies like Evelyn. Yep, I was a character witness because I witnessed her I called child services on her twice. And they were involved in her life. Because I witnessed some of the behavior she had towards that baby and I knew there was something wrong. And child services knocked on their door that week. It was shown through their text messages. And the boyfriend messaged her and said, CPS is at the door. What do I do? And she said, hide in the bedroom with them. Don't answer. And because they didn't answer, CPS just walleyed their way out. Okay, didn't answer. Let's go about our days. And that baby ended up being dead the next morning. I don't fucking play around with child services.
Doubt about it. Yeah, because as your body kind of phases through this oxygen deprivation, which is going on, your brain, even at this age, is screaming out, "I need oxygen." There's panic that's involved with this. You're struggling, just to have your chest rise and fall because it's insufficient oxygenation, and this primal response kicks in where you just want to survive. And she would have felt that would have been, that would have been, present in that. And I think that anybody that's, if you get a pulmonologist on the stand to testify to this, they could certainly testify. And I can tell you the forensic pathologist that's going to get on the stand and talk about this, they're going to go into great detail about this. I hope the defense is prepared for this.
Joseph Scott Morgan, appreciate your time, your insight, your expertise tonight. Thank you, sir.
You're quite welcome, Ben. Good to see you.
All right, let's bring back in the think tank Michael Sterling, Ann Bremner, Terrence Malloy with us. This is, I'm trying to figure out what's going to happen here, and I'm reminded of that other case from Florida. There's so many parallels and similarities.
Do you guys know what case he's referencing there? The case from Florida? Yep. That is good old Casey Anthony. A lot of times, even what's going on right now with baby Quentin, people are saying, well, why aren't they arresting the mother? She's the prime suspect. Why are they not arresting her? We want immediate arrests. We want movement to move like that. Let's go. We know she didn't get her. You got to remember, these police have one chance. They have one shot. If they jump ahead off of feelings and emotions and the fact that, well, we know that the mother killed Quentin. We know it. But without the police having a very damning evidence, they're not going to arrest her because we can have another Casey Anthony situation take place where they're able to get off on the sole basis that the police jumped the gun. We should all want them to take the time they need to build a solid case. Amen to that. She got it, and she's living her best life. Dating a sheriff. She has a photography business. She was dating her lawyer. She's down in Florida. You can see her at bars. She's over at bars drinking and partying. Casey Anthony is living a fantastic. She is living the life she wanted that caused her to unalive her own baby girl. Yeah, we don't need another Brian Laundrie, Mike. Ain't that the truth? I'm going to proceed with the conversation we're going to hear. Hey, Lucia. Good morning. Again, this is a warning. If you're unable to hear sensitive topics, I didn't listen to this yet. I'm listening to it with you all. So I am literally reacting with all of you.
And I think the defense is going to go the same way, right? They're going to say, oh, this was an accident. She panicked, didn't know what to do, may even blame it on the boyfriend for tossing her in the trash. And then she panicked and she lied about her being missing. Is that where you see this thing going, Ann?
Yeah, I do. And I don't, she'll remain nameless, right? The mother who was acquitted, as we all well know. And that could happen here. She could have exactly a defense like that. It's so horrific what happened to that little girl. And I'm a big fan of Joe Scott Morgan, and his description is such that it's almost like the jury's going to say, a mother could never do that to her child. Like Casey Anthony. A mother could never do that. Either she's mentally ill or she didn't do it.
That is crazy because we often hear there's always this excuse given for mothers, right? There was this other mother who murdered her 2 babies. I can't think of her name off the top of my mind. This was Tennessee. And she was, right away, people are like, no, a mother can never do that. A mother can never do that. But we so often believe a father could, right? Please. This woman definitely killed this baby. And if she gets away with it, I'll be damned.
And so I think that's where she's going with it. And it sure worked for Casey Anthony in getting that acquittal when it was pretty clear that she was guilty.
Terrence Malloy, it's the classic example, and I think this is where the defense is going to go, basically arguing that it was an accident, there was panic, so the accident now looks like murder.
I wish I could think of a defense that would work. Be honest with you, I'm having a struggle. I've been a prosecutor too, so I've been on both sides of the aisle. And to hear the mother's story of she was asleep and she smothered the child, how hard are you sleeping that you don't know that was struggling with asphyxia, as your the investigator just stated? That's
one thing I'll say is that they do often tell you not to sleep in bed with your babies because you can suffocate them. Yeah, as infants. This baby was 13 months old. 13 months old. As an infant, as 3-month-old, 6-month-old, 9-month-old, they don't have the ability to move about as much. But Evelyn was very advanced. She was walking early. There's no way you could roll over on a 13-month-old baby. There is a way, but it's very unlikely because they can move. So there is no way that, in my mind, come on, bullshit. The baby had fucking tinfoil in her, get aluminum foil in her throat. Come on.
It's going to be something that's going to take a while, and the child's going to be acting out. So you're going to have a baby that's crying. So I don't know. I like my colleague there just stated, bringing up the Florida case. I like the way they want to go, but how do you explain aluminum foil in the throat? How do you explain that this would be a slow, painful type of, that you were just asleep? Unless you're the hardest sleeping in the, I'm having struggle with that.
Yeah. But Michael Sterling, and I'm reminded again, little Kaylee Marie Anthony down in Florida had duct tape over her mouth.
Right.
Jury didn't care. Jury didn't care. They thought it was a very reasonable explanation that she drowned in the pool. The baby drowns in the pool and then you cover the mouth with duct tape? What? Come on. So here, could they come up with some other story like that could actually work with a jury?
Well, Vinny, I never want to say jury didn't care. 12 people come together to try to figure out what happened in a particular case and try to hold the prosecution to their burden of proof and listen to all the evidence. But I mean, the question becomes here is that, as we all know, the prosecution has the burden to prove everything beyond a reasonable doubt. So the question becomes, can the prosecution prove that someone intentionally put foil in her mouth? Or was that something that a baby does, picks up a piece of foil, puts it in their own mouth, and the parents are not aware, right? And then that's exactly.
So you know what? I do believe if oh Bonnie, thank you so much. Thank you for doing a stream. It's so important to shed light on these monsters. Thank you, Bonnie. Thank you for being here as I do this stream. So guess what? I think Megan put her foot in her mouth by claiming that they rolled over on the baby. Okay. Because of the fact that she had aluminum foil in her throat. Now, she would have said something like, I wasn't keeping an eye on her and she choked. She choked to death and I freaked out. Maybe she would have the defense, but it's going to be hard to explain how the baby in bed that you supposedly suffocated while sleeping ended up with aluminum foil. It's not going to work. Not only that, but again, the way she was found, wrapped in aluminum foil inside the trash bag, upside down, and she was so squeezed in there and contorted that the top back of her head was touching down to her shoulder blades. Whew.
Exacerbated by the fact that, as the mother says, they sleep on the child. I don't know, Vinny, what the defense is going to do, but the question becomes, right? Everything has to be proved beyond a reasonable doubt. You've got to have all of these specific things happen beyond a reasonable doubt, every element of the crime. And so it may not necessarily seem reasonable that, mother put a piece of foil in their child's mouth. I don't know. But that's something that the prosecution is going to have to deal with.
Yeah. And, I look at duct tape over a child's mouth. I look at that as being worse than the foil, like in terms of what looks like murder. And both children, baby Evelyn and Kaylee Marie, were tossed away like garbage. Kaylee Marie around the corner from her house, tossed into the woods, and little Megan on the family's property, upside down in a trash bag. We'll see. That trial's coming up in February.
Oh, thank you, Gary. I was muted. Thank you, replay. Sorry. What I was saying is, and now we have baby Connor. Not Connor, I'm sorry, Quentin. Who, as of this morning, the police were able to, the dogs were able to trace his scent at the landfill. So another baby that was tossed into the garbage by his mother, apparently, allegedly, as far as we know. Now listen, I don't care if you like Dolly and Bullhorn Betty or if you don't, but they need to go to fuck home, for one. For two, the fact that they keep referring to Quentin as Baby Q. You don't know this baby. You don't have the respects to say his entire name. Is that too much to ask, as you are literally making money to go travel to his state? You can't even give him the respects of his name being Quentin? Baby Q? Who the fuck do these people think they are? No, Connie, he was not found, but the dogs did catch a hint at the landfill. So they're looking for baby Quinton, not baby Q, baby Quinton. Every time I hear them say baby Q, it just drives me nuts. Yeah. Oh, yeah. Oh, this guy wants to throw. Last night they're on there, right? And they're like, oh, he's all tough when he's on his property. Sit the fuck down. People are so disgusting. Hey, Jay. So gross. How are you?
I'm great, thanks. How are you?
Good, thank you.
It's pretty crazy all this hearing about all this stuff.
It is insane.
Yeah. It is insane, you know what I mean? It's like it's one thing to kill someone, but to kill your own kid is like beyond, you know what I mean? It's sick as hell.
It's horrific. I couldn't, especially babies that are defenseless.
Yeah. I mean, I couldn't really listen to much of it because like even though like it was a baby, it's like I was like abused as a child. I was like beaten by my father and stuff. So it's difficult for me to hear about stuff like that. You know what I mean? Because I just go back and think about it. You know.
I'm so sorry.
Yeah, I mean it wasn't compared to others, it wasn't that bad, but you know it still affects me because it's like I used to like look up to him and idolize him and. Then he did that, you know what I mean? And it's like, it just felt like everyone in the world was against me at that point. Surprised I'm still here, to be honest with you, after all that. But I just kept on going, you know what I mean? I've never had, you know, the inclination or the desire to go away, you know what I mean? I just rise above it type of thing. But it does hurt when I think of it.
Yeah, it's horrible. So, caffeinated slug for Quentin. His father is in the picture. For baby Evelyn and Kaylee, no. Their fathers were not in the picture. Now, Evelyn's father was actively serving in the military, and he did see Evelyn, but he wasn't, you know, physically there.
That must have been a nasty shock.
Oh, I couldn't even imagine.
Nasty shock, kind of, yeah. I'd leave if I was. There's no way you can carry on active service after something like that. You know what I mean? You can't in the military. You've got to be clear-headed. There's no way you can be in those combat situations with something like that on your mind.
Well, no, and I'm sure they honorably discharged.
Yeah, definitely.
Yeah, and you know what, Bonnie? I don't understand it either because in all actuality, we still have laws. I'm sorry, they have the option of dropping babies off at firehouses, churches. There are many ways if you are unhappy being a parent or you don't want to be one that you can legally give your rights to a child without any repercussions. So why end their lives?
Exactly. That's the thing that creeps me out the most.
I agree, Angie. A 20-month-old baby. I mean, what could it? And then the fact that he's in a dumpster in a landfill. That's just even more horrific.
Yeah. It's not. It's like there is no dignified way, but it's like a really violent way that it was done through suffocation and like really, like that's hard to think about, you know what I mean?
Yeah, it's horrible.
I mean, I don't even have kids, you know what I mean? And it's difficult for me. I can't imagine how you feel.
Yes, it's just I don't know how anybody could ever do that.
Neither can I.
Yeah. And I did say that chicken feast. So in the beginning, Evelyn was telling her new boyfriend that she split custody. So that's why he's never seen Evelyn, because she was always with the father. She actually told him during the Christmas holiday that Evelyn was with her father. Hey, Nix. I hope you're doing well. It's good to see you here. So yeah, it's just, I don't know. And then you have Evelyn, I'm sorry, not Evelyn. You have Quentin, who the boyfriend, texts the babysitter and says, oh, we're not going to need you today. And then all these hours go by. And just like with Megan, they were not the ones to contact the police. It was the babysitter. And same
Really?
thing with, yeah, and with Casey Anthony, same thing. She didn't contact the police. It was her father.
Yeah, I mean that in itself raises alarm bells. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
I mean, it's even weirder to think that like their families would help them out in that. You know what I mean? It's like,
Well, I don't think
why?
they were helping them out. I think they were genuinely the only ones concerned.
Yeah. But no, but in some cases where like they'll try and cover it up and stuff, it's like that's even crazier. You know what I mean?
Yeah, it's horrific.
So like, what do you think like runs through their minds? Like, what do you think? Like, I have no idea.
I couldn't even fathom. I have no idea either. It's just unimaginable. I couldn't.
I don't even know. It's crazy to me. I mean, I've I've gotten angry about things before, but Christ, that's just unimaginable. You know what I mean? It's really, really horrible.
Oh, absolutely. And I know it's hard enough. Like babies can push your buttons. It's not.
Yeah.
It's not a hard thing. It's easy to lose your temper with infants, with toddlers. They're not
and
as
animals as well. You
self-controlled.
lose your temper with your cat, but you don't go and you don't go and kick the cat. You know what I mean?
Exactly.
You're just like, oh God, give us a second. You know what I mean? But you don't go and hurt the thing. You know what I mean? I'd imagine it would be the same with a baby.
Well, it's a shame that we're in such a judgmental society that if a mother does come out, you're shamed for not being able to deal with your babies. You're ashamed for losing your temper.
You
And
shouldn't be. You really
that's your-
shouldn't be. And I've seen posters like about that, about saying women that they shouldn't feel shame. In like in city centers and things, which I think is a good idea.
Yeah, it should be. We shouldn't judge parents for saying I need a break.
Because I'm back home at the moment. I'm in England, so I've been seeing
that's nice.
seeing that around Manchester city centre. So it was interesting.
We should also be mindful that if you know somebody who is a single parent or an overwhelmed parent and they have young children, they have toddlers, check in on them. Check in on them and ask them how they're doing. Ask them if you could take, if you are able to, offer your services to watch the baby for a little bit while they catch up on sleeping or feeling humanized and everything else.
Absolutely.
It's something that we should all do for each other and know that, and maybe eventually we can stop things like this from happening. But unfortunately, my alarm just went off. I have a meeting today.
Oh, wow.
Yes, I'm going to wrap this up, but I will be going live later about Michael Myers, and I hope you can join us then, Jay.
That'll be great. I'd love to. I hope your meeting goes well.
Thank you. I appreciate that.
Thanks.
I got to go get ready. Thank you, everybody in the chat for being here. Thank you, Jay, for coming on up. I'm sorry.
You're very welcome.
Longer. And I will see you all later. I know. Bye, Jay. Listen, at the end of the day, man, if we treated these killers how they treated these babies, these defenseless babies, maybe we could stop crime. I'm when it comes to children and crimes against children, I am definitely down for the good, an eye for an eye, and I think that would be great. Yeah. So I'm going to wrap this up. I'm procrastinating. Let me go get my day started. I appreciate all of you being here. Thank you very much. And I will see you all later on.